The final team in the morning session are the Buffalo Bulls. They are the number 6 seed in the West Region. They are the Mid-American Conference regular season and tournament champions. They'll play number 11 seed Arizona State in Friday's second game at approximately 2:50. The head coach is Nate Oates. The men's basketball contact is Brian Wolf. The student body up on the dais with me is Jeremy Harris, C.J. Massenberg, and Nick Perkins. And we'll open up for questions at any time. Start right here in the center.
Sorry.
Hey guys, this question's really for any of you. Looking at the matchup, obviously the big storyline is Nate Oates going up against Bobby Hurley, but what do you make of this matchup knowing who your opponent is now?
Jeremy and CJ for that question, please.
It's a big matchup. Not only because Coach Hurley used to coach at Buffalo, and him and Coach Oates are really good friends, and they were assistant and head coach. But it's a big matchup because Arizona State's a really good team, and I feel like we're a really good team, and people are saying that they don't know if we're going to win this game, but we're just going to go out there and give it our all, and we should be good with the results.
Like C said, this should be a really good game. We both play really hard. I'm pretty sure Coach Oates is going to be a little bit into it a little bit more, but I mean, it should be all fun, and it's going to be a fun game to watch.
CJ or Nick, either one, how was your mindset different coming into this tournament? Last year as a lower seed, could have been called a Cinderella. Do you reject that type of label as a higher seeded team with a better record? And how is it different coming in with the success you've had this season?
Nick, you're first, then CJ will follow.
I think it's a little different, you know. Obviously, we had a really successful regular season, and, you know, we ain't sneaking up on nobody no more. You know, everyone knows who Buffalo is. So I think along those terms is, you know, we got a much, you know, I feel like we're a little better this year, and we just got to give it our A.
I would say that it's different for us because we have more experience. Last year we came into the tournament not knowing if we can win that game, but we knew that we was going to play so hard and wanted more and just try to stay in there, and it was a very dominating win. But this year we basically have the formula or the recipe for success, and we know that it's in how you prepare for a team, your practices leading up to it, how hard you play. So we're just going to try to keep that same recipe and formula and just bring it over to this year.
We're here on the edge and then on that side. Thank you.
Right. Did any of you watch the Arizona State St. John's game last night? If so, you know, what did you see about Arizona State that really, you know, stood out to you guys?
Jeremy, you're first, then Nick.
Like I said earlier, they play really hard. They're well coached. They crash the boards real hard, and they got some really talented players.
One thing for me that stood out was obviously, you know, them on the old boards and defensive boards. I think they got a good front court. They do a good job of rebounding the ball. They got some good guards who can shoot the ball too. So it's gonna be a good game.
We're going to go on the Associated Press right here next.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press, is for any of you. Even though y'all had some success last year, right, and y'all are very well respected this season, do y'all still carry a little bit of that chip on your shoulder being a MAC team coming into this?
CJ, then Jeremy, please.
Yeah, we definitely keep that chip on our shoulder. Our coaching staffs and the media or whatever pay attention to how the professionals pick us. Like where they're some people are picking us to go to the Final Four. Some people picking us to get popped in the first round. So, I mean, we're definitely humble, and we're going to keep that chip on our shoulder and know that nothing's given. So that gives us confidence. Like, hey, people are saying that you're capable of doing great things, but they're also saying you're capable of getting put out. So we just got to bring it.
Like you said, we just got to bring it, but we just got to do a good job of staying in the moment and just not getting the big head and staying humble. And I think as long as we stay with our base and do what got us here, we're going to be fine.
We have a question in the back. We have the next two will be here in the second row and then here. Go.
This is for Nick and for CJ. You kind of mentioned on it a little bit. They seem to rebound really well. Big guys averaging double digits in rebounds per game. Is that something that you guys have kind of focused on now that you know you're going to play Arizona State, making sure you keep them off the glass?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of their offense, and it's a big part of what they pride themselves in on in their program. And I think if we do that, we have a pretty good chance of winning the game.
Yeah, that's been a big point of emphasis in practice. If we give up a board, Coach Osius, he's losing his mind. But yeah, they're a really gifted athletic team, but we're tough guys too, so we should be okay.
Nick, I believe you're the only player that has any ties to Bobby Hurley. What do you remember of your interactions during the recruiting process with Bobby?
Well, Oates was, he was pretty much the main guy in my recruitment. But I did come on a visit here when Coach Hurley was here. I remember him being, a good guy, down to earth, really intense, and a guy, really good coach. So that's all I remember about him. But I know he's a pretty good coach, Hall of Fame basketball player. Yeah.
This is for, I don't know if it's working. Okay, this is for CJ and Nick. Do you guys reflect on your first NCAA tournament after you guys lost to Miami? You said things like, we're going to be good for a long time. We got to stick with it. I was listening to some of those press conferences the other day. What do you take away from when you guys started this thing to where you've come now?
CJ first, please.
I would say that. What was your question again?
Just kind of reflecting back on how far you guys have come and how far this team has come from the first time you guys were in the NCAA tournament and now your favorite for the first time.
Oh yeah, that definitely shows the growth of this program and where we have took it along with the coaching staffs. But that first year, we were freshmen. We were just trying to get in where we fit in. We didn't know how lucky we were to go to the NCAA tournament our first year of college basketball, because some people don't even experience it at all, and some people only experience it one time. When we sit up here, we done experienced it 3 times. So I think that year was very key, and it gave us a goal to reach for. Once you got a taste of it, you're like, man, I want this again. So that first year was important in it, and I feel like we was able to build off of it.
Kind of what C said, you get that taste of that the NCAA tournament is really nothing like it. You can't really, the MAC tournament is cool, all the little postseason things, but ain't nothing like March Madness. It's a huge sporting event. So when we got that taste of it our freshman year, it was only right, for us to continue to keep grounding, and although we didn't go our sophomore year, I think that year that's really where we built that hunger, for us to come out and did what we did last year, and obviously the great season we had this year.
For any of the players, what has Nate's approach been to this week? Knowing he has to face the guy who hired him.
Jeremy, what do you think?
He told us just worry about the game, and he gonna take care of all the questions about Bobby Hurley. And so we just trying to stay locked in and focus on the game and the matchups that we're gonna be doing tomorrow night or evening.
We have time for 2 more questions. I'm going to take this one here, you're next, and then in the back.
For Nick and CJ, when you watch Arizona State, do you see any of yourselves in them, any similarities with style and scheme from the links with the coaching staff?
CJ, first, please.
Coach Oates and Coach Hurley, they're similar, but they're also different. They got some of the same plays that we have. I will say that they got 1 or 2 the same that we run or whatever. But other than that, it's kind of different. I don't think the Pac-12, like teams in the Pac-12, play as fast as we do. So the tempo is different. But similarities, we run maybe 2 of the same plays.
Yeah, kind of what CJ said. They got a lot of similarities, but they're really different. they pride themselves on different things. They shoot a lot of long twos. They punch. They got a lot of front court players. They shoot a lot of long, weird little shots and stuff. And I think if it's on a layup, we shooting three. So and then we get out in transition and run. I think that's what it's a little different in the two coaching styles.
Final question. Go.
I know most of us in here grew up watching March Madness and filling out the brackets. Is that something you guys did when you were younger, kind of growing up? And is it still a little surreal that you're getting a chance to kind of live out that childhood dream?
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think, speaking for myself, God definitely blessed me because growing up, like you said, we all watch March Madness, and we finally, like, I'm on the podium right now talking to y'all, so it's just blessed.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Coach Oates will be up next. All right, thank you. Appreciate you. Good luck. The head coach of the Bulls is Nate Oates. We're going to ask him to make a statement about his team, about being here in Tulsa. And then we'll go to questions. Remember, name and affiliation for the first time. Thank you. Nate, please.
No, we're excited to be here. Great to be in Tulsa. We got sent out west last year. Worked out great for us. Was happy to see us get sent out here again. People have been great so far, so we've enjoyed it. Hopefully we can stay here a few more days. Thought our guys have been great. They've been locked in pretty good. So excited to get to play tomorrow. Got a question already?
Heather Prusak, WGRZ, NBC in Buffalo. Nate, obviously, big storyline facing Bobby Hurley. Now that it's official, you guys are playing Arizona State. What are your thoughts on?
Shocker of a question for the first one.
Got to get it out of the way, man.
There we go. No, I mean, listen, I talked to Coach Hurley Sunday night. I watched, obviously, we watched the game last night. Every time I watched them frequently. So the one positive is that I've watched Arizona State play a lot this year, obviously. So, I mean, he's done an unbelievable job. I saw a stat somewhere. This is the first time since, I think, 1981 that Arizona State's been back-to-back NCAA tournaments. He got this thing. We had never been to the tournament until he came to Buffalo, so he's been the head coach of 2 programs, done an unbelievable job. Gets them turned around quick, winning, going to the tournament. You know, he's a really good coach. He was great to work for. I'm a close friend of his, and not an ideal situation to have to play him because one of us, we'd both like to see each other continue to go, and one of us is not going to be able to continue. So, you know, I'm just going to lock in with my guys. The good thing is none of my guys really know him. The only guy that was on the team, or he was never on the team, but the only guy that Coach Hurley really recruited was Nick Perkins. So, you know, our guys aren't going to be distracted by that stuff too much, and I don't really know too many of the players at Arizona State. I know who they are, but it's a good thing we don't have to play one-on-one because, you know, him and Chris Mullen would have been a lot better matchup than me and him, and I think maybe he's a little bit better player than I was, but great friend. Shoot, we're going to try to beat him. He's going to try to beat us, and we'll be good friends afterwards.
We're here in the front row. 2 is there. 3 is in the second row. Go, please.
Nate, do you see any similarities between your program and Arizona State, and what differences do you see between them?
Yeah, I mean, the similarities, I think, we're both kind of gritty, tough, hard-nosed. I mean, you know, Bobby, obviously a Jersey City guy, and we kind of gets his guards to get after it. We've got really good defensive guards. I mean, you look at a kid like Dort, who was all defensive team in the Pac-12 as a freshman. So I think we both get. I mean, Remy Martin plays with a lot of flair, and he's kind of their heart and soul, and he's got a toughness to him. So if you look at our guard play, I think we both have pretty tough, gritty guards that like to get after it and play with some freedom. We both give our guards, you know, a lot of freedom. They've got probably a little bit deeper, more athletic front line, or we're maybe not as deep. We're probably a little deeper in the backcourt. But, you know, for the most part, both teams play man-to-man. He's obviously playing a little bit more zone, and that's probably due to the fact he's got a lot more depth in the front line, wants to play them more. And, you know, at St. John's, they had more perimeter guys. So, but we play fast. They play fast. We're probably a tad faster. Again, that may be due to more depth in our backcourt. But no, I mean, it's not like one team's all zone or one team's pounding it every time, one team's shooting a bunch of threes. When I coached under him, we had pretty similar philosophies, and I didn't change a whole lot when he left. Personnel changed, but philosophies haven't changed a whole lot.
Josh Reed with the CBS affiliate in Buffalo. Nate, what did you learn from Bobby when you coached underneath him?
That was my first Division I experience, so I learned, you know, the whole how it's done in Division I. You know, I also learned how competitive he is. Like I'm pretty competitive. I think a lot of people, especially coaches, think they're competitive. I don't think anybody realizes how competitive the Hurleys are, and that's Danny and Bobby both. And Bobby's a little, you know, I haven't coached under Danny. I'm guessing he's similar, but I mean, he's you know what I learned? I learned why he was such a good player, because when you look at him, he's not taller than me. He's not. I mean, he was athletic back in the day to a point, but you just know after coaching with him, you knew why he was so good, because he just wasn't going to take any losses. It was not fun when we had losses around there, but the point was made that I don't accept losing, and we're not going to be a losing program. I mean, you got to turn it around quick, and that's why you got Arizona State turned around quick. He refuses to accept anything that deals with losing. So he's a competitor. As far as basketball goes, I mean, you obviously talk a lot of different stuff. I learned some point guards. I wasn't really a point guard. He was the best point guard arguably in college basketball history. So, you know, I learned a lot about how he thinks as a point guard and a coach, and I listened a lot as he coached the guards. I became a much better coach for guards and point guards in particular, what you're looking for, what you're looking here, and all that stuff. So that's, you know, if you're talking X and O wise, that's the biggest thing I probably learned from him.
We have 5 minutes left in this session. We have a hard out at 1:05. We have 3 questions up. Go, please.
John Scott, Spectrum News. What have those conversations been like with Bobby since he left? Frequently, I know geography maybe plays a part into it, but you know, how has your relationship with him evolved? And is it personal, basketball, both? What is it like?
Yeah, both. I mean, we obviously follow each other's teams. We talk maybe once a week or so. I shoot him texts after big wins and try to encourage him after losses. I talk to his brother Danny quite a bit too. He's, you know, right in the middle of Bobby hiring me. So, you know, and in the summers, you know, Final Fours, we see each other in the summers recruiting. We, you know, if we're at a game together, we'll sit by each other and talk. And, you know, he's great. He's a really good friend. He gave me my shot in this business. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So, always thankful to him for it. I've tried to help him when I could. He's tried to help me if he could. The kid from Detroit they've got, Rob Edwards, was one of my assistants, was tied in with Rob Well, the former assistants at Romulus. So I try to help him when I can. It's obviously a lot harder with him way out here on the West Coast. I don't know that many ties out here, and he's doesn't really need my help. He's doing a great job out here, but we stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, Cliff Brunn, Associated Press. My first question, well, I have a couple of real quick ones, probably. In Buffalo, what are a couple of things that you sell players on in terms of trying to get them to come to Buffalo?
The weather, number one. No, we do say this. We say that the temperature in the gym in Buffalo is the same as the temperature in the gym in Miami during the winter seasons. And if and I right up front, I tell them, look, if you're worried about what the weather is outside during the basketball season, then I'm probably recruiting the wrong kid. So tell me right up front if you're going to try to go to the beach or if you're going to actually try to get in the gym and make yourself better. Because in the gym, the temperature's all the same. So we don't have those distractions. The things we sell the most are obviously we've been winning. The kids want to be associated with winners. So we go to the tournament. This is fourth in the last 5 years. Kids want to play in this tournament. Our style of play is one that kids want to play. We're the third fastest team in the country right now. We get the ball up and down. We play a style. It's open. It's a lot more like the NBA. Guys, we're big on player development. Guys are able to use what they work on in the gym, and then you just build a relationship. That's the bottom line recruiting. You build relationships, and kids trust you that you're going to make them better, and we have proven that we'll make them better if they come here.
Do they still have that chip on their shoulder? I know they've had a lot of success the last couple of years. Still have that chip on their shoulder from being a MAC team?
Yeah, they need to. I mean, shoot, we were 31-3 and got a 6 seed. So they better play with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, we're happy to have it, but obviously if you're 31-3 at another level, you're not going to be a 6 seed.
Nate, it's been a while since April of 2015, but what was it like for you that day you found out you were getting hired, you know, to know you had to succeed Bobby Hurley and kind of, you know, put your stamp on this program using what Bobby set as a foundation?
Yeah, we wanted to continue to build it. I had a great relationship with the players that were staying. They were the ones that really had said something to Danny White, like they'd like to see me get the head job. So I had that relationship. Then we just had to go out recruit. And shoot, at the time when I was a recruiter, I sold Bobby Hurley because Buffalo didn't have any tradition really. Now I had to sell Buffalo basketball. Couldn't really sell myself. I didn't have a name in the business, so we just built relationships, sold that we had been to the tournament, and shoot, I put my head down and started grinding like early. And, you know, Bobby was good. I stayed in touch with him and Danny as well. And, you know, those guys helped me through that first few months. Both of them had just gone through it not that recently. And Danny